Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Readers Association. So this is our second episode. If you did not listen to the first episode, please do check that out. I was reviewing the book Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. So before we even get into today's mission, I must say I am so grateful for the feedback that I got from you guys. It was really impressive. Most people are commenting about my voice. Apparently I have a good voice. I don't know what constitutes a good voice, but thank you guys. Thank you so much. Keep those comments coming. Keep listening to the podcast. Buy those books, read those books, tell others about the podcast. So today we are talking about a book. This is going to be a very short video, and before I say anything, I just want to know, please guys, comment and tell me and let me know which type of videos do you prefer? The long ones, the short ones? Which ones do you prefer? So that we cater for everybody. Okay, so today we are talking about a book that I really like. I think this is one of my favorite books. One day I will do like my top 10 favorite books, but this is really a book that I really like. I'm so fond of this book. It's about a shepherd boy who travels around the world in search of a treasure that he dreamt about. And I'm sure you have guessed by now that I'm talking about The Alchemist, which is a fable about following your dream, and it's by Paulo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So today we are not going to say a lot of things about the book. We are not going to go through the entire book. I just, want to say hi to you guys by giving you the 4 obstacles that Paulo outlines in this book. And these are 4 obstacles that hinder people to confronting their own dreams, right? So the first one is the voices in your head. He speaks of the things that you are told as a young, child growing up. So because we are told during our childhood that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you come from this background, you dream too much. If you are from South Africa, you know that when you say, like, when you are too ambitious or when you dream too big, a person can finish all of that by just saying, "Wenana." So you'd be telling someone about your dream, as a child or as a young adult, you'll be very passionate about it, and the person will kill your vibe, will kill your mood, will discourage you by just saying these 2 words, wenana, So because we grow up being told that certain things are impossible, you can't go to certain places, you can't do certain things. You grow up with this idea that, no man, I'm not fit to do that. I'm not beautiful enough to do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. Because this is what you have been fed over time. And as these ideas accumulate in your head, this is where also the fear, the guilt, and the discouragement also accumulates. So you dream, but then you say, man, let me be realistic. It's impossible for me to do this. That's because of the voices that you hear when growing up. Because essentially, guys, when you grow up, it's so funny that when you are growing up, those things are not so prevalent until you are actually a full grown-up person, and all these things that were happening in your childhood then now come into play. So essentially, we are then made of the things or the values that we grow up, being in type. So it's a very serious, thing. And also when you when you grow up being a child who's told that you can't do that, you can't do this, it's either you will use that to your advantage, or that will be just your downfall. You will be more discouraged and not, dream big, because you are told that you are not good enough for that. So all those things that pile up as you grow up, pile up. And by the time you get to a certain age, you just grow up knowing you are not fit enough to do those things. So that is the first obstacle, that we grow up being told that certain things are not for certain people, And there comes a time where your personal calling will be so, buried in your soul that it's invisible, but it's still there. And sometimes these thoughts are still in your mind. You grow up, you always have that urge that I want to do this, I want to do that. But there's also this side of you, this part of you that is full of fear, full of guilt, full of, discouragement. So it's a bad thing. Fortunately, I didn't have to go through that. My parents were the best. So unfortunately, also, it is so hard to unlearn or to silence those voices. It can be done, but it takes a bit of more effort, because you are constantly doubting yourself. And for other people, those thoughts end up defeating them and they just give up. So that's the first obstacle. The things that we are told from childhood, that everything we want is impossible, that certain things are for certain type of people, right? The second one is love. How interesting is that? Love. Paulo says that we know what we want to do, but we are afraid of hurting those around us by abandoning everything in order to pursue our dream. And I think this is very prevalent in African, people, because when you grow up, our parents have certain expectations of us. They want us to, pursue certain careers. They want us to do certain jobs, only to find out that you might not even be passionate about that. You might not even be interested in that type of field. But because your parent views that as the best thing for you, and yes, parents want the best for us, but it could be something that you're really not interested in. You have, other dreams that you want to pursue. You want to do other things. You have a certain career that you want to pursue, and your parents might not be in favor or might not approve that type of career that you want to pursue. So you end up not pursuing it because you love them. You don't want to hurt them. You end up saying, no, I'm just gonna do this because it will make my mom happy, it will make my dad happy. But deep down, you know that you do not want this. It's the same thing as people doing certain things, committing to certain things when they know very well that their hearts are not there. They don't want to do this. But you know what? Because of the love of these people that we love, which in most cases are our parents or our guardians or people who just, support us, will hinder you from doing or pursuing that dream. And what we don't realize, this is what Paul says. He says, we don't realize that it's just a further impetus, not something that will prevent us going forward. Those who genuinely wish us well, I love this point, by the way, those who genuinely wish us well want us to be happy, and they are prepared to accompany us on that journey. So, yes, the people that love you and wish you well will support you on that dream. They will be with you during that journey. They will be on your side. And sometimes that's not the case. Let's be honest. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes people who we think should support us do not support us. And sometimes it does not really mean that they don't love us. It's just that they do not see the vision that you see, which is reasonable because it's your vision, it's not their vision. So the best thing you can do is to pursue this dream and to prove yourself worthy of that dream, to prove to them that it's possible, it can be done. So the second thing, that's the second obstacle, love. The love that we have for the people who love us, the people who care about us, right? And then there's the third obstacle. Here, it's the fear of defeat. We spoke a lot of things about fear on the previous episode, on that book, Who Moved My Cheese? And I think a lot of things are unpacked on that book regarding fear. So the third problem or the third obstacle that will hinder a person to confronting their dream is their fear, the fear of defeat. Because when you are taking on this journey, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. You are going to doubt yourself time and again. You will want to give up time and again. And sometimes you will pursue things and they will not work out. That is just life. Some things will just never work out. No matter how much you try, they might not work out. And that does not mean that there's something wrong with you. Some things just do not work out. It's life. So it's very important to be cognizant of this fact so that when you get to that stage, you are not defeated. You don't want to give up because now your fear has overcome you. So we fight for our dream. And what people don't realize, and I like what Paulo says here, he says that the people who actually fight for their dream are the ones that suffer the most. And others do not realize this because, and the reason because of that is you fight for this dream. You have nothing to fall back on. So it must work out. It has to work out. You are counting on it. So if it doesn't work out, of course, you will suffer the most. You'll be embarrassed. You will feel like you are a failure. That's just how things are. And now, of course, you want it to be successful. You want this dream to happen because you have put everything on it. You have put everything in it, your whole heart there. And it's not easy. But your whole heart is in that dream. So you are counting on it. You want it to work out. But sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it just takes a bit longer than expected. It takes a whole lot longer, If you watched that Acrimony movie, I don't even want to talk about that movie. That battery took way too long. It took way too long to be successful, So that's just what happens. Sometimes the dream is there, it's possible, but it's just going to take a lot longer. So what do you do in that instant? You become a warrior of light. That is what Paulo says here. Be a warrior of light. Be prepared to have patience in difficult times. And always know, my favorite line, always know that the universe is conspiring in your favor. Even though you might not understand it at that time, just know that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. So continue being the warrior of light. Be patient. But why do we have to, feel defeated sometimes? Why does the dream never work out? Because the dream wants you to fight. The dream wants you to prove that you are worthy of this life. You are worthy of this success. You are worthy of this dream, You are worthy of whatever that is your cheese. So it's important for you to recognize that. And it's always a good thing to achieve something that you never thought you would. It just, when you overcome defeats, when you overcome challenges, there's just that, pride that you will have, and you are always filled with a greater sense of euphoria and confidence. When you do something once and you overcome that fear, you become so, you get so much strength from that, and you gain so much confidence. Now you're able to stand tall, you're able to fight even more, because you know that you've done this before and you can do it again. You have fallen 7 times before, but you rose up the 8th time, and you have done it again and again. And because you have proved to yourself that you are so worthy of this dream, that just gives you so much confidence going forward, and just knowing that I've been fighting and I've finally succeeded. That is the best feeling ever. Also, you become very enthusiastic, going forward. You become this person full of confidence, you know what you're doing. And even though sometimes you might, face some challenges, but because you've done this before, you've proven yourself that you are worthy of this thing, it just makes things a whole lot better, right? And now let's move on to the last obstacle. And in this book, Paulo quotes Oscar Wilde, and he says, "Each man kills the thing that he loves." So now you have overcome the defeat. You have, you are way closer. Perhaps you are even one step closer to that dream. What's the problem then? I'm just going to read straight from the book. It says, "We look around at all those who have failed to get what they want and feel that we do not deserve to get what we want either. We forget about all the obstacles we overcame, all the sufferings we endured, all the things we had to give up in order to get this far." How true is that? I think, I can actually relate even more to this. Every time I do something that I thought I'd never do, I think of, the other people who actually did it. And I start saying things like, but so-and-so deserves this more. So-and-so, works hard. So-and-so has been doing this for too long, but he never succeeded. And I start feeling guilty that I'm being afforded this opportunity or whatever that I'm achieving. I start feeling guilty about it because I'm thinking of all the other people, be it my friends, be it my family members, who actually, did a lot more, who are doing things right, who are fighting, who are working hard to get this thing, but they never got it, and I got to be the one to get it. That just makes me feel guilty. I don't know if that's a natural feeling or what. Yeah, do you ever feel that way? Please comment down below. And also, just when you are within the grasp of your dream, and you just then make stupid mistakes because of this guilt that you have, you start doing things, silly things that will just block you, or that will just destroy whatever that you have been fighting for. So it's very important to be cognizant of this, so that when it hits you, and you are aware, and you avoid making any stupid mistakes. And as I conclude, this is what Paulo says. He says, this is the most dangerous of the obstacles because it has a kind of saintly aura about it. If you believe yourself worthy of this thing that you fought so hard to get, then you understand why you are here, then you help other people, then you become this confident person, then you are full of strength and you inspire even more people. So that's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. This was such a short and sweet episode. See you on the next one.